Welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be discussing free will and witchcraft. All right. This is obviously my point of view from my own experience. As you guys know, I am a firm believer in free will, and at the same time, I practice witchcraft, and I have done for many, many, many years. And obviously, I'll offer it as a service. Now, if you are in my spell group on Facebook, you know that I've preached this many, many times. Free will is something that will interfere with spell work. There are spells that you can go against free will, and of course, they're there. Do I agree with it? I mean, each to their own. Have I done it? Yes, I have. Have they worked? To a certain degree. To a certain degree. Now, for those of you who are new to witchcraft, I don't believe there's anything wrong with practicing witchcraft as long as you know what you're doing and you keep it respectful and always, cleanse and protect and the usual stuff. Love spells are absolutely fine in my opinion. I believe that I personally always pull some cards and see what the situation is before I cast spells, especially if it's a love spell, because a love spell is generally messing with someone else's free will. Now, do I believe it will backfire? Not at all. Not once have I had anything backfire. What tends to happen is it doesn't work. It doesn't manifest. That's it. There's no, I don't believe it anyway. Now, can you break someone's free will? Yes, you can. But I don't think, nor do I believe you can break it for very long. Unless, and I say this, unless you continuously put witchcraft, continuously, you know, put a spell on someone, which I don't agree with. In my opinion, if you do a love spell and you're going against free will, which in all honesty, most of them are, and you get your person back, I feel that that is a chance that you have to make things right again. Okay. And if that person decides to leave you again, I think that's a sign that you need to stop. But some people continue to do spells upon spells upon spells. Now, I don't agree with that. I think that that is not right. You could potentially mess with someone psychologically, to the point that some of them can lose their mind. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So I personally will not cast for a client if I know that there is absolutely no love there. Okay, we can work with love. If there's love there, then it's fine. But if the person continues to backtrack and not come to you, um, again, if the love is still there, we can still continue to do it. But at some point, you need to know when to pull back. All right, and be like, how does spell work when free will is there? Well, the spell work is energy. It's energy based, it's energy work. So, what you're doing is you are basically manipulating the energy. That's all it is. It's none of this hoo ha kind of stuff. It's literally that's all you're doing. You are manipulating the energy, you personally, or your spirit team that you're working with, your deities, your demons, or whoever you are, collaborating with when you're working with a client, or even if you're working yourself, casting a spell. You are asking your spirit team, or you are personally putting your energy there to manipulate someone else's energy. Now, I know a lot of yous are against that, and I can kind of understand it to one degree, but I'm very logical, and I'm like, well, if you think about it, humans are manipulating in relationships as it is, without even a candle being present or being burnt. You know what I mean? The fact you get all dressed up and put some makeup on and you put your best show on a first date, a little bit of manipulation there. Maybe that's a strong word, but I've got a lot of heavy Virgo in me, so I'm gonna say it as it is. In the beginning of the relationship between two people, the first 3 months at least, it's just fucking manipulation, and then the truth comes out. So a spell is essentially the same thing, and generally, to be honest with you, they last about 3 to 6 months tops. And that's when you need to start figuring out, what am I going to do now? So when it comes to love spells, always get a reading prior, find out what the real issue is. Where is the problem? Is it the communication? Love generally isn't the issue from my experience, but it's lack of communication, third party interference, a lot of blocks in this person, past traumas. So you know, you need to start off with something like a cleanse, a blockbuster, and stuff like that, and not dive straight into love spells. Not necessarily because they're dangerous and they could. No, it's you don't need it. Do you know what I mean? You don't need it. Oh, I want him to love me. He does love you. He just doesn't want to be with you for whatever reason that is. You know what I mean? So it's pointless. And a lot of yous go straight, book yourselves in for love work from Etsy, from anyone. And I do spell consultations and I always speak to my clients prior to doing love work. But most people don't. They're just like, oh, we've got a love spell to do, let's cast. And they cast the spell for you. And then you're crying saying, oh no, the spell didn't work. Well, bitch, it's not that it didn't work, it wasn't needed. You know, what are you expecting from a love spell? I want him to love me. He does love you. What do you expect? You need action. This is why it's important to get a spell consultation or have a bit of know what the fuck you're doing. Okay. Um, so yes, free will. So basically spells, witchcraft, whatever it is, it's just you're manipulating the energy, just like you manipulate in real life. And they last as long as they need to last because then free will kicks in and then that person fucks off. So is it worth it? In my opinion, I mean, I personally do spells, I do cleanses, I do protections. This is personal for myself. Road openers, money spells, bitch, please. Blockbusters. I don't personally do love work for myself because no, no, don't want that. But would I? Probably. I don't know. Never have. But I would never say no because I've learned that when you say no, that shit happens. Anyway, um, so what was I saying? I lost trail. Oh, I lost my thought process. Do I think they're worth it? I think that if you are in a situation, and most people that turn to witchcraft, unfortunately, are in very vulnerable places. Very vulnerable places. Going through a breakup is like death. You're grieving. You're all over the place, and you're just like, "Oh my god, I want this person back. I want this person back. I don't care who does the spell. I don't care what. I've done everything." You're in this kind of energy. This is why it's always better to get someone else to do it. You do not want to cast a spell in that energy because you're sending all these mixed signals. And this is why your spells don't work. All right. It's not that you don't know how to do spells. You shouldn't be doing spells in that kind of energy, right? This is why you get someone else to do it. Um, so, I think that there are positives to love work. I think that you, when you get to that point that you've tried everything and you're blocked and you want answers and you need to do that spell. Okay. Now, I think that that is an opportunity. It opens up an opportunity for that person to come back into your life, for you to have a second chance or four chances or whatever to make it right. Okay. So when that person does communicate, when that person does reach out to you, when you guys do reconnect, because this is what the spell has done for you, it has opened up an opportunity. Don't fuck it up. Do not fuck it up. Don't go back to your old ways. You know what I mean? So, yes, it's worth it to give you that opportunity to make things right when you reconnect. If you guys split up again, come on. Don't keep doing the spells and spells and spells because Spirit's going to like, seriously? We gave you the opportunity. What did you do in the meantime while the spell was manifesting? Did you do the inner work? Has anything changed? Or are you guys just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again? You know what I mean? As magical as a lot of people want to make spells out to be, it's not going to change your life completely. It's an aid. It's going to help alongside the work that you do. So, yes, I can get them to come towards you. I can get them to contact you and think about you and draw them in. But then the rest is up to you, my darling. The rest is up to you. What are you going to do with that? Have you changed your ways? Have they changed the ways? What have you learned through all of this? Okay. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on the whole situation. I could sit here for hours discussing stuff like that. So, if it's something you want me to talk a little bit more about, let me know. But at the end of the day, free will and witchcraft, they do go along. It is what it is. You can break that free will, but I don't believe you can break it forever. Okay. There's always a little space there because it's manipulation. A lot of yous know. People manipulate all the time. It's just part of humans. Whether you like it or not, reality is what it is. So that's all you're doing, essentially manipulating the energy, which does break the free will, but not long term. Okay. You're not under a trance for too long. Okay. So, yes, that's what I'll go for you guys today. Let me know if you want to see more of these kind of videos, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.